So obviously there was the whole ordeal with the Piratesoftware situation, and I believe I saw Thor put out a tweet saying that him and Charlie talked and came to an agreement. I haven't seen this video. I don't know what's going on with this video. This was just posted a couple hours ago. This should be part 2 in this series so far with Thor, Piratesoftware, going against Stop Killing Games, which is an organization and a thing that you guys can go sign. Also, editor, put in the link. If you're in EU, sign the petition for Stop Killing Games. Essentially, it's an organization that's attempting to prevent companies from stopping providing a service of a game that people paid for. And so when the servers shut down, allow a third party to pick them up and run them privately to anybody who still wants to run the game while not affecting the company's dime or the company's bottom line. When they choose to discontinue a game, third parties being allowed to give that game new life and make sure people can enjoy it for all of eternity. It's a great cause. I think it's awesome. Piratesoftware is against it because he's very pro-corpo. But let's see what's going on right now for part 2, and let's see what the updates have been.
I have no doubt most of you have
They did not come to an agreement. Oh, well, let's find out.
noticed over the last 10 or 11 months I've been a lot happier, glowing, really radiant. You can tell probably just from my voice alone and this striking smile.
Absolutely.
So what is the secret to this newfound happiness of mine? The one trick doctors don't want you to know?
What is it?
I haven't been online as much. I've been going outside far more frequently.
That's what I'm doing too, man. 10,000 steps every day, just hit 1 million subs on YouTube. We're still flying. People are already liking, commenting, subscribing. I got myself a dog. I'm about to bench 315 on the bench press. Life is good. I'm starting boxing classes. I'm getting into running. Things are great. The world is so miserable when you live online 24/7. There's so many beautiful things out there in the real world. Find some nice parks, go for some walks, make some friends, have some laughs, share some memories. It's great.
Spending time in the real world. And as such, I'm sure many of you have noticed over the last 10 or 11 months, internet drama hasn't been a huge focal point of the channel because I haven't seen a whole bunch of it. I haven't kept up with the...
Yeah, guys, I haven't been doing any drama either. It's been really slow. There's been like none.
Vast majority of it. And of course, occasionally I've still dipped my tootsies in some of it, like if there's something particularly wacky going on, and I still cover like news and crazy shit going on with aliens and all of that kind of thing, or if there's like a really cringe, prankster that got arrested
or crash out on an airplane.
About that. But it's not like a fixation for me like it used to be over the last few years where I was covering every...
I would definitely describe my coverage of drama a fixation. There are so many shitty people on this earth, and I'm so glad my new channel's direction is bullying the bullies. It makes me feel good. It makes me erect. And every morning I wake up with a massive heart-on, excited to lay out the long dick of the law and bring these people the consequences of their own actions. It's been a blast.
Any and all internet creator space hoopla. And I want to keep it that way. I'm having a lot more fun not doing that. That being said, there is something that has unfolded here that's like the John Wick killing the dog moment that's bringing me back just very temporarily. And it's Piratesoftware. Yesterday I talked about Stop Killing Games. And there's no way to talk about Stop Killing Games without also mentioning Piratesoftware because...
I think that's very fair. And I think everybody's been pretty fair to Thor so far. I don't think anybody said anything egregious or attacked his character. I think they've attacked everything with a bit of elegance and grace. I've made some videos over the past couple months having his back over, because let's call a spade a spade. A lot of people go after Thor's for a lot of things he doesn't deserve. That doesn't mean that Thor's is immune to criticism, but I do think people will take any opportunity to go after this guy for any ill-advised cause to just get a little bit of clout. Yeah, he was already outed as a gay furry, and that was got to be hard to fucking deal with. But this situation is a little bit different because I just don't think he really understands the concept fully. And I don't think he understands why people are so upset about him, which makes this situation so messy.
Because of the profound effect he has had on that initiative in its demise. I say demise, but it's not actually fully cooked. But it has been on life support. And Piratesoftware did play a big...
So in case you're wondering... EU is very pro-consumer. They've done some great things like, in case you guys are wondering why premium currency and gacha games are no longer like 8,400 Primo Gems and now it's like $49.99 USD, right? Or 1,600 Primo Gems to do a 10 pull, it's like $20 to do a 10 pull. Or here's a better, more universal example. You remember when iPhones had that really special lightning charger that only worked on iPhones, but now every phone just uses the same charger? If you got, I believe, the iPhone 14 and up, which I have the 16 Pro Max, it's because EU had petitions sent to them. And once you reach 1 million members signing a petition, which is a lot of people, by the way, they're willing to put that forth into motion to the best of their ability. Stop Killing Games was kind of at 460,000, and a big detractor of that. I mean, now, guys, okay, let's just be honest. Do I think that Thor said, no, guys, stop signing that, it's garbage, and Stop Killing Games didn't reach 1 million signatures because of him? No, I don't think it would necessarily be at 1 million if Piratesoftware never made the video. To be honest, I have the inverse opinion where, because Piratesoftware is being made an example of right now for misspeaking about the actual cause, I think this cause might get more momentum and signups than ever if Piratesoftware were to have said nothing. I think we're going to see another huge resurgence of signatures on this because it's catching mainstream attention, trending on gaming right now, which I believe, this is currently 13th on trending for gaming, a day old. And it might end up doing more good than harm, but a couple of weeks ago, a lot more harm than good. So we're currently reversing that pain, and we're currently making progress towards the Stop Killing Games movement that we want to have happen. Now, obviously, I do think Stop Killing Games does have its flaws. I don't think it's as transparent or as easily consumable as a lot of other movements that have set forth motion in the past. I think a lot of the language is very confusing, which I do think Thor's was right about. I do think the language was confusing, but I do think Thor's ended up being confused by that language and thinking it was a lot worse than it was, and it ended up Thor saying some things that I don't think, well, he does mean them. I don't know why he doubled down on it, but any normal person would have just said, yeah, guys, I fucked up. It is what it is. Sorry about that. He doubled down, and it's really a shame because it could have just been an easy pivot to say, I messed up, but some people's egos get in the way, and it is what it is. Let's keep going here.
Role in that because of 2 videos he made, as well as a stream, shitting all over it. And that's not even doing it justice. He was full-blown tooting on this. He was shitting on it with some fart on top. And a lot of what he was saying about Stop Killing Games wasn't accurate. It was a misrepresentation of the initiative. And the guy behind it, the guy spearheading it, Ross, finally set the record straight on a lot
Wait, he did say not sign? Wait. Sorry, what the fuck? Thor said, don't sign it. Oh, I've never seen that. Okay, well, let's keep watching the video then, guys. Oh, that's not that good. Ooh, yucky, yucky, yucky.
Out of the misconceptions that Piratesoftware helped to put out there and kind of exacerbate these thought processes that just weren't accurate for what the initiative was actually aiming to do, he finally set the record straight. And I, of course, wanted to talk about it as someone who does actually care about it. Now, as I've said, I've been a little more off the grid. I bought a fucking farm, so I've been, living off the Lord's land recently, and I've missed a lot of the internet happenings. So, Piratesoftware's previous anime arcs of drama, like with World of Warcraft, and the one after that, 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 I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to. I only got little tiddlywinks, little morsels of lore about it in a few clips, so I never really even understood what was going on there. So Piratesoftware's response to everything that happened yesterday really caught me by surprise. That was a subversion of my expectations, bigger than Game of Thrones Season 8.
Yeah, I did see Piratesoftware double down, which I definitely think was a massive fucking misplay, and I do think Piratesoftware's ego does get the better of him quite often. It is truly a shame.
Not sure I did. I think it's really hilarious to me that that entire community is so butt mad at me for putting out a video 10 months ago about their stuff.
It doesn't matter if it's 10 months ago, if you double down on it, say you stand by everything you said on it, when a lot of it was proven misinformation from the video that you made.
And then not being refuted, and now it's my fault that everything is going wrong for them.
I cannot believe his ego. His ego is so out of control, I feel like he's only a week or two away from exclusively referring to himself in third person, like Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin. And that's the truth, because Piratesoftware said so. Some shit like that. It's crazy how he's responded. The smugness is nails on a chalkboard. It just makes you feel icky listening to it. And he goes on that same talking point multiple times in the clip about how, like, oh, I guess I'm fully to blame. I guess because I made those videos 10 months ago, it's my fault entirely that this whole thing crashed and burned. Yep. Oh boy. Time to play.
I think the reason why this really disappoints me is because I really wanted to be right. And I think this is one of those instances where I just wasn't right. Because I actually had a talk with Pirate Software a while back where, he was pretty thankful for what I did. I had his back for some shit because a lot of people don't. And I saw like a human side of him because I don't even know the guy. I don't know. I've had like one conversation with the guy and I was like, oh, okay. Well, maybe this guy maybe he isn't like what people say. And so usually when I see people like that, I'm like, okay, so these narratives that people are pushing against him are false. I may have gone and watched the Dr. K interview with Thors, and I saw how he has an issue with communication and how he comes off as a massive fucking dickhead. And man, is that fully on display right now. I really wanted this to be like, and I do think this could have been a big turning point for him, where he could have just said, I was wrong, guys. I fucked up. And it would have been nice believing in someone's humanity again. But obviously, everybody has their flaws. And this ego of Thor's is definitely a fucking pain in the ass now, isn't it?
A sad song on the world's smallest violin for the Stop Killing Games movement, all because Big Bad Pirate Software took it all down by himself. Like, it's crazy. No one's saying that. Like, there is no one out there that is saying it is entirely Pirate Software's fault that Stop Killing Games hasn't been more successful in its endeavors. But there's irrefutable evidence that you had a detrimental effect, a majorly damaging effect on Stop.
Yeah, when you're one of the faces of the video game industry, your dad works at Blizzard, so goes the rumor. You make video games, and then you say stop supporting these video games because, you're too blinded by pro-corporate takes. It's just not a good look, man. It really blows, and it's really going to attract a lot of people, especially if you've said verbatim, stop signing this petition to an audience as large as yours, because people look up to you, right? You got to be responsible for the things that you say. It doesn't matter how long ago it was. If something you said that long ago was fucked up, then just say, yeah, guys, I fucked up. I don't stand by that. Does that make sense?
Stop Killing Games because of your misinformation that you spread about it in 2 videos and across all your streams, and not once have you bothered to correct that record. And he has said that it hasn't been refuted in 10 months. That is fish paste.
Pirate lied, video games
turbo
died.
Horseradish. Go to your own comment section on your videos to see everyone refuting you, as well as the innumerable other gamers and voices out there that have taken down those talking points and debunked a lot of them and proven that you just didn't understand it. And that is the big problem. No one hates Pirate Software because he doesn't agree with Stop Killing Games. The reason so many people are angry at him, myself included here, you can disagree with the movement all you want. If you don't like the initiative, I'm not your fucking dad. You make your own choices there.
Sure,
but
absolutely.
The reason so many people, myself included, do not like how Pirate Software is handling all this is he is outright refusing to just admit any level of fault, that he was wrong about anything.
There's a lot of streamers that just feel like if they ever admit fault for anything, that their career just collapses. And that's just not how it is. You just bounce back. Right? You say, damn, I fucked up, won't do it again, and then you don't do it again, and then you bounce back. It's really that easy.
And that couldn't be more clear from these clips, as well as his tweets that he's made. It's actually his tweets that really sent me off the fucking rails here, off my gourd. Let's start with this little nugget here that he deleted from last night. So he tweeted directly at Ross, the guy behind Stop Killing Games, talking about how he made those videos 10 months ago, and since then, his community has been nothing but hateful. A scourge. A fucking tyrannid threat that he must destroy. Your community is fucking rabid, and it's shit.
I also found out that his name is Pirate Software, and then in his bio it says "Don't pirate software." So there's a little bit of a disconnect there. A little bit of a disconnect there. I'll be real, man. If you don't want me to pirate software, don't make games $100.
Shit to deal with for anyone on the other side of the argument. Why do you think I haven't talked about this?
Also, thank you guys for the wishing me congratulations on hitting 1 mil.
Anyone bringing it up in chat, because it's been rage bait and shit flinging the entire time, and just goes on about like how he is the victim of Ross's toxic, terrible community, which is hilariously hypocritical coming from Pirate Software, when in his videos and his streams, he makes it very clear and is very rude about how much he dislikes not only Ross, but the movement. And it's
yeah, I'll be real, like, in the gacha space, when I was in the gacha space, that's the number one thing that I look for at people is, do they have the ability to take accountability? And if they don't, I'm done with you immediately. And it sucks because one person who I actually liked quite a bit, I saw immediately would deflect and never take accountability until it was beneficial for them to do so. And just say, nah, it's not like that. Nah, it's not like that. Nah, it's not like that. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. Meanwhile, having no way to soundly prove that in any way, shape, or form, other than by just feigning ignorance. And when somebody can't take accountability for their actions, I do consider them a very dangerous person, because you're never really going to get any type of relief, any type of closure on any wrongdoing they're going to do to you, their community, or anyone else. And without that, I deem people not worth my time, and I move on, because you essentially have to beta yourself to their ego, or they're going to blow up on you. It's either be their bitch or they're never going to talk to you ever again. And that's it. So when you see people with ego issues like that, when you never see anybody with "I was wrong, I apologize" videos like that, it's not really anybody who I want to communicate with. Especially when you talk to them about why they committed the problem, off stream, in DMs, over call, and they double down. It's just not worth it.
It's not like he's being very professional and polite about it, buttoned up. Listen to it.
So this was my first encounter of him.
Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. No, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I drop the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
Yeah, I'm sure it's wrong.
I understand if someone were to say that after getting personally attacked, or someone saying like some ridiculously awful shit about someone, not someone trying to propose a movement in order to help consumers continue playing the games that they love playing. That rhetoric, in my opinion, does in fact have a time and place, but not versus people just trying to have players have the games they enjoy not be ripped away from them after they paid for them.
Ross and his community that are actually the assholes here. Brother, come on, you can't possibly be calling the wambulance with a side of french fries here about people being mean to you when you are literally the one that started the shit-flinging and name-calling.
Very fair.
And by the way, Ross never even addressed this for 10 months because he didn't want to dilute the initiative into just having it be boiled down to drama between creators, which I think was actually very big of him. The only reason he's talking about it now is because it's at the end of its life and so many people still don't understand it because of someone like Piratesoftware misrepresenting it. So he's finally setting the record straight there. Anyway, he did delete that tweet, but just a little while ago he made a new tweet.
That is what we call a big yikes situation. I would also like to say I have never seen that side of Pirate before, and that was a little bit shocking for me, to be honest. As a guy who's still familiar with his, or just only now becoming familiar with his game, that was shocking. Yeah, that was wild.
Very long tweet as well as a series of tweets under it in regards to this whole thing. And in all these words, all this mumbo jumbo, not once does he say he was wrong about.
Haven't you watched Pirate with Dr. K? Yeah, but that's not any of his content, right? That's like a specific interview. You've been live for 2 hours and never got a notification. Yeah, if you're subscribed to me and you don't have the bell on for all notifications, you will not get notified. That's like 10 times more helpful than a sub. So if you guys have a second, I would greatly appreciate that.
About anything. In fact, he just continues to double down, even proudly stating he is doubling down. Wow, how incredibly noble, doubling down on things you are provably, blatantly wrong about.
OnlyFans, I'll be also 100%. I was on Piratesoftware's side for what happened on OnlyFans because I know everybody who was accusing him of being a rat and a roach and acting how horrible it was what he did were even bigger rats themselves. And then I was proven right when all of those people who were casting judgment on Piratesoftware roached out just like how he roached out, and they all roached out on Tyler 1. And that's the weird issue is there was a bunch of fake ass rats riding a hate train going off on Piratesoftware and the OnlyFans ordeal, when in reality all those same people also fucked over Tyler 1. And so, yeah, sure, did Pirate fuck up? Yeah, but so did all those other people. And I'm not going to sit here and humor all those lying, ugly fucks trying to act like they're different. They're not different. To be honest, a lot of them were much worse. And so I hated that because I usually, To quote Hassan, I usually judge people by their enemies, and the amount of people going after them were just a bunch of clout-hungry goblins, just like everybody else is in OnlyFans. Do you think those people like World of Warcraft? Fuck no, they don't. They're playing it, so hopefully they'll be on Soda Poppin's stream, be on Tyler One's stream, be on Asmongold's stream, be on Mizkiv's stream, be on Emaru's stream. They don't give a fuck about the games. They don't give a fuck about the camaraderie. They're all a bunch of fucking posers trying to get clout any way they fucking possibly can. So yeah, I do think all those people are a bunch of fucking frauds. Are we surprised? Not really. Wake up, guys. It's 2025, and people will sell their morals. They will lie and pander to anyone if they think it means career success.
We don't need to hit the Jumbotron for the replay on yesterday's video going over so many of the things that he was incorrect about in regards to the initiative. But the point is, that is an issue that I really thought that he would address.
And you know what happened to that OnlyFans situation? Let me humor you. So I was blacklisted from OnlyFans Season 2. You'll never guess by who. You'll never guess. Yeah, I know. That guy that you're thinking, yeah, obviously it was him. But I thought him and Tech were cool. What happened? Yes, it was that guy. And you all know that guy. And no, it wasn't Soda. It's the guy who you guys always wonder why I hate this guy so much. I was blacklisted by that guy. I wasn't allowed to play. And so what happened? What happened when I got blacklisted? Well, they got the black version of me, a guy who grinds every day, a guy who is nothing but kind to everyone, a guy who pulls his numbers, a guy who is one of the best true gamers on this entire platform in the name of Lucari, and they made him the new Tectone. Because these pathetic fucking streamers can't exist without a punching bag. Because they all need someone to take their aggression out on. And so they all bullied the fuck out of Lucari, just like they did to me, because they know I wasn't going to do anything about it because that's the role they put for me. I was the guy allowed to be shit on by everybody because, oh, I got to farm the Dictone emote, so we got to talk to you like shit because you're Dictone. Haha, hilarious. Remember that time I got a hate thread for talking trash at the Trash Talk tournament? So I wasn't there, and so they all shit on Lucari. One of the best people on this platform who deserves nothing but respect, and they shit on him relentlessly because they don't know what to do, because these children don't know how to act unless they have a target. That whole Season 2 fucking made me sick.
Be like, hey, yeah, I did get this part wrong. You're right, guys. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to misrepresent it. I still don't fully agree with it, but I do recognize that I had some errors here in my coverage. That's what I was expecting. That is not what we got. And it prompted me to reach out directly to him, to talk to him, to see, like, why isn't he acknowledging that? Is there a reason? Like, what is going on there? So I did. He made it very clear he was not very happy with my coverage of Stop Killing Games, which is fine. I think that's totally fine. I'm not going to leak DMs or really go in depth on our private conversation, but the point of me reaching out to him was to talk about his refusal to acknowledge that he did, maybe unintentionally, misrepresent Stop Killing Games, and it led to a just shy of 2 hours, like, circular argument that ultimately got us nowhere. He was more focused on his qualms with Stop Killing Games and really liked to challenge me to prove him wrong about some of his hang-ups with it. And when I would mention, like, the behavior aspect, like, hey, you did misrepresent it, and I'd give him a timestamp, he'd then instead say how I'm wrong for thinking that he misrepresented it. We got nowhere. So I want to just
Okay, so that's what happened. The way that the follow-up post was about made it seem like Charlie and Pirate came to an agreement. So that didn't happen. Okay, damn. All right, well, that's okay. Well, that's a very different version of reality that I was buying into. That is fucking weird.
quickly say this again. There are plenty of things you can disagree with when it comes to the Stop Killing Games initiative.
Sure.
I'll put links to it if you want to learn more about it, and you can form your own opinions on it if you want to support it. If you don't like it, that's fine. That's
They agreed to
super
disagree?
normal. And I
Very
didn't
interesting.
reach out to try and champion that Piratesoftware should become, you know, a huge ambassador of Stop Killing Games, you know, out there on the fucking front lines fighting.
I don't care what side you're on either, but let's just correct the misinformation. That way people can make the right decision on what they believe and what they want to support, right? That's pretty much all this comes down to. This shouldn't come down to a battle of egos. This should just be a, oh, okay, I fucked up there. All right, let me make sure my audience knows I fucked up there. It's really that easy.
Fighting for it. It had nothing to do with that. It was simply about the misunderstanding that he showcased, maybe unintentionally, and the misrepresentation of it that he broadcast, again, maybe unintentionally, which has in turn, over the course of 10 months, misled people on what the fuck Stop Killing Games even is in the first place, which I found to be a problem because he's never even acknowledged that as something that has happened. And because he refuses to acknowledge that, and anyone that even, like, tiptoes around that subject, he kind of treats as though they're fucking idiots, like me, for thinking that he's misrepresented something. Now, he did just post a tweet where he said he talked to me and Josh Strife Hayes, and in that tweet, this will prove...
Also, I found out that Josh Strife Hayes follows me on Twitter, and that was insane to me. Dude, I fucking love that guy so much. He is such a genius. And I was like, damn, this guy follows my stupid ass. Josh is a Giga Chad? Yeah, dude, you know what? You know what my dream is? Bro, a podcast with me, Asmund, and Josh Strife Hayes. I feel like the conversations that could happen could be fucking insane. Just Asmund Gold and Josh Strife are just absolute geniuses. Like, my top people that I want to do a podcast with are Josh Strife Hayes, Asmund Gold, Mudahar, Nuxtaku, Nicholas Light. Not sure if I said Asmund, but Asmund. Yeah, those are probably my top 5. Very, very, very good people.
How useless our conversation was, unfortunately. There's not a single peep about misrepresenting what Stop Killing Games was about. It's more so about how the public just doesn't understand game development.
Emmy? No, Emmy can watch, though. Emmy can stand in the background and watch.
And it kind of reads to me like we're all just too stupid to understand it from his side of things. Our conversation basically amounted to toilet paper, unfortunately. Again, I was focused on, you have done this, maybe unintentionally, you should at least say that you have, or, like, you know, are you aware that you did this? And then it became more of like, nope, I didn't. You're wrong. And then he uses our conversation at the start of this for something that was not even the focus. I was not there to try and convince him to be part of Stop Killing Games. I don't think we made any ground on, like, his perspective versus mine on Stop Killing Games. He has some qualms about how difficult it would be in certain cases. I agree with that, for sure. I still think overall Stop Killing Games is a net positive for the gaming industry where something desperately needs to change with a lot of these awful practices.
Yeah.
But for the 10 millionth time in the last 2.5 hours, it was just about him having this awareness that his coverage did mislead people, and that he, maybe not maliciously or anything, misunderstood or misrepresented Stop Killing Games in numerous instances. And the way that he talked about Ross was unacceptable. That at least made it into the tweet there about the way he talked about Ross being like a fucking used car salesman type deal, and like calling everything about it ass. He at least recognized that that was too harsh. So he gave a...
It's like the other day, like, obviously I'm a guy who talks very harshly. I understand that, but I only talk harshly to people who deserve it. When I do talk harshly, inadvertently, to people who I don't think deserved it, even people who have wronged me, I still apologize. Like, for example, has Chud Logic made my life a little bit harder? Yeah, but I still made a comment about him that I didn't mean, I didn't stand by. And so when he told me that I hurt his feelings, I apologized immediately, because I'm okay with people talking shit about me. I'm okay with that shit. You know what I mean? And I don't try to talk this way unless it's deserved. And I think Thor should probably acknowledge that the way he talked to that person was undeserved. You know, far be it from me be the guy to be the voice of reason for watching your tone, but that was definitely a scenario where that level of vernacular wasn't exactly justified.
Quick, I'm sorry for that, which is good. I do appreciate that, and I'm sure Ross will appreciate that as well, I imagine. But I still wanted to make this video after the conversation because I just really do not understand. I truly cannot wrap my head around.
What about Ryuku? Ryuku called me a pathetic clown and berated one of my friends in the content creation space, multiple of them, and crashed out on me because I made a gay joke. After I'd invited him on 3 different podcasts in front of 14,000 people, an opportunity that people would kill for and that person asked for. If you really think that me making a gay joke when his content was about him wanting more dudes in a gacha game as a man, and I said, that's gay. I'm sorry, bro. If you're that sensitive, I don't give a fuck. And that gacha drama, guys, I'm sorry. There's way too many mentally ill creators. There's way too much.
why he fights tooth and nail, coming for throats for anyone that tries to.
So many babies in the gotcha
mention
space?
that
Oh, yeah.
there was misrepresentation.
So many babies in the
his
streaming
coverage of
space.
the Stop Killing Games initiative. He is so hell-bent on proving he's right and everyone else is wrong that's saying these things. I just don't get it. He's just treating it like he's got the mega mind, once in a generation galaxy brain that no one can possibly understand. All us plebeians are beneath him, and we're lucky that he even graces us with streams, and we're stupid for thinking that he did anything wrong here in regards to his coverage of Stop Killing Games and what it's actually about. It's just so odd to me. Because if he would just come out and be like, yeah, you know what? Looking back on it, really reflecting, hearing what you guys are saying, I can see why this was so misleading for so many people. I didn't mean for it to be, and yeah, maybe I misunderstood some of these things.
That's all anybody's saying. You know what I mean? And I think that would be such a huge W for Pirate, because it would show that he can take accountability, albeit like dragging your nuts through the glass at this point. But I feel like Pirate has such an easy opportunity to get a W and just say, yeah, guys, I fucked up. I was confused. My bad. Here's the actual information. Make your own decision. I feel like dying on this hill is so pointless.
This would not have been nearly as big of a deal as it has turned into. And I went back and looked at some of his previous
Yo, JT, what up, dog?
dramas, I suppose, and that is a common thread with Piratesoftware. Like in World of Warcraft, he made a mistake, but he completely refused to acknowledge the mistake, and it made it a much bigger snowball into an avalanche for him, which led to a ton of other problems. He just has this inability to, like, accept that he can make...
That being said, that mistake that he made, everybody else would have made the same mistake. And so casting judgment as if they're holier than thou, that's the issue I had with, was the people who were telling him he was making that mistake. I was like, you're that guy? Okay.
Mistakes. Like, he does things wrong sometimes, and he needs to recognize that it's okay to be like, yeah, I did do that wrong.
Yeah.
You're right. I was incorrect in this.
Yep.
And it would save so much of a headache. But he just comes across as a narcissist. He really does, unfortunately. Like, I'm not an armchair Reddit psychologist here going to diagnose him as a narcissist.
I have diagnosed him myself.
Or anything, but like, that's what it comes across as. He just refuses to admit that he ever does anything incorrectly. It admits no faults of his own, ever. Except, I suppose, to Ross here, which maybe this is the beginning of a big character development for Piratesoftware. He did apologize to Ross for how he treated him and what he said about him. I think that's great. Would love to see that same kind of energy for understanding where people like myself are coming from with your coverage of Stop Killing Games and why people feel the way they do about what's happened since with your responses. But anyway, I won't keep yapping about it. That's really about it. So yeah.
Great vid. Holy fuck, dude. Internet Jesus. I fucking love that guy. Like, comment, subscribe. Great vid, bud.